Welcome everybody back to Dungeons 2. Last episode it was just getting us through a little bit of the tutorial, and now we're actually going to go after our first hero. If you ever played Dungeon Keeper or Dungeon Keeper 2 back in the day, gosh, I think Dungeon Keeper 1 was made for Windows 95 and 98, just to give a little bit of a time frame on how old those games are. These Dungeons games pull heavily from those. So if you'd like to go back, check some of those videos out. Hopefully I'm trying to find, I used to have the disc of those. I'm not sure if I can try and find them and get them to working. Maybe I'll do a series on those just because those were a blast. I loved them. But we're going to go ahead and jump right back in and see what kind of monsters and evil we get involved with today. Press R to rotate the work unit to be built. That way I can make it look a little bit better rather than it just, like, making no sense. Ooh.
According to scouts, King Robert spent most of his time strolling around his hunting lodge garden reciting poetry. Soon his poetry would turn into mournful ballads. The vengeful evil thirsted to defeat the Alliance's king and mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Whoops, of course, I really mean that he wanted to take all of King Robert's cookies away. Better play it safe, or the age classification folks will be after me. Before that, however, the ultimate evil had to do a bit of work on the dungeon. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to fund even a small army made up of a few orcs.
All right. So we need to. What's that? What is that? What is that? I'm guessing that's like a portal? I don't know. But anyway, let's get some gold, get mined here. Okay, excuse me. Get to work, please. And who's that? This. Oh, so this must be the above world map, and then over here is my dungeon with the access to the real world up here. Oh, that's kind of neat. I like it. I approve. Okay. So we're gonna put our brewery in
The first
here.
brewery was completed. Soon beer would be flowing like a river, and an Oktoberfest atmosphere would pervade all. Would the ultimate evil put the beer baron out of business? Ugh, such a duff reference.
Actually, let's go ahead and just do a little bit of
Right now, the restricted evil was only able to call upon orcs and little snots. But there had been rumors that some goblins were hiding out in a cave somewhere close by. The exploratory evil would be sure to follow this line of inquiry.
We're gonna go ahead and chisel that out around there. We'll just go ahead and make this all a brewery. That would have some room for barrels to be sent. If we want to expand and brew and make another brew kettle, we would have the room available for that. Come on. Faster, faster, faster. Come on. Come on, one more.
The strategy guidebook, Dungeons for Dummies, says, mountains don't always just consist of rocks and stone, but may also include natural as well as artificial caves and rooms. These usually contain treasures and dangers to make digging around underground more exciting.
Actually, we should just probably go ahead. Just cut that out and we'll make this a treasury here. Ooh. Oh, that's not bad. Get out of it. Get some out. There's a heavy one.
The ultimate evil should never forget to keep a watchful eye on its beer and gold stores. If its creatures can't help themselves whenever they need to, they will get angry. Fast. The first treasury was completed. Soon greedy evil's little snots would fill it with gold. You know the golden rule, right? Whoever has the gold makes the rules.
I kind of miss this in Dungeon Keeper. We actually had to have
The
a
ultimate
layer.
evil slowly
You had to have
made itself
room
cozy
for.
underground.
You had to have
Although
room
the
for you to be able
sense
to
was
have
there
creatures
was a
sleep
large
and stuff
and
like that,
lovely
and to have
overworld
keep them
out there,
fed. Not
just waiting to be
just
destroyed.
didn't have to fill them up with beer, but you.
Payday!
Oh yeah, you guys are free. Cost gold. Make. How many do I have? 3. Yeah, I definitely would like another one. 3. What? Definitely something big and bad over there. I'm not looking really to mess with. After 40 barrels, not bad. Pretty good actually. Block you off right now. I like my rooms to be somewhat uniform, right?
The warmongering evil had hired the first orc. As ancient wisdom says, violence is a solution, usually the only one.
I got another one of you guys coming.
Another
There we
orc
go.
entered the service of the military-savvy evil. The horde was growing and prospering. The steady pounding in the rocks had given rise to overworld rumors of a new dungeon. The time to attack appeared to be right. On the surface, in the tavern of a small, miserable village, some adventurers gathered. They were acquiring Dutch courage for their visit to the dungeon by downing several beers. The dungeon had to be destroyed. Enemies have entered the dungeon.
Get him! Get him! Should you take that crap from them?
The heroes didn't know what had hit them, as several orcs bore down from nowhere and annihilated them. This group of heroes had plundered their last dungeon, but there would be more.
That. Go ahead, take that.
Defend the throne room.
Get out of there. Treasury out a wee bit.
Payday.
How much are these? 210?
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Come on, you got this. Take him out. Don't let him do this to you. Okay. You guys see that now? Come on, we're gonna go now. Come on, get him. Come on, you got this. Kill him. Nope, what happened?
A delicious rumble announced the fact that the village's last house had crashed to the ground. Ha! There would be no more heroes meeting there to seek out the dungeon of the destruction-hungry evil. The hunting lodge of King Robert lay in the north. It was there that the ultimate evil would finally get its long-awaited revenge. However, it looked pretty damn well guarded. Maybe it should first visit the cave to the west, inhabited by a clan of goblins, where the cunning evil could do a little negotiating. The goblin leader prostrated himself joyfully before the ultimate evil, and immediately dispatched 2 goblins into its dungeon with a few plans for a new room, a tinkerer's cave. This was built as quickly as possible. It's payday.
Oh wow, look at that. Oh.
The Tinkerer's Cave was built. It could, however, only be used as a warehouse, as it lacked the workshop that the insidious evil's goblins needed. Quick as a flash, Evil placed a creator mat in the Tinkerer's Cave. A sparkling new creator mat graced the Tinkerer's Cave of the expansion-hungry Evil. A goblin would be able to work well in here, producing toolboxes. A few of these boxes would now be needed in order to invent a trap. The moody Evil waited patiently. A few creatures of the ultimate evil had lit a fire in the dungeon and begun to barbecue. The smell of freshly roasted meat wafted through the underground. As cowardly as the goblins were, their creativity more than made up for this. They proudly presented the treacherous evil with their plan for a devious trap. With a silent, evil cackle, it quickly buckled down to setting the trap. Job done. The trap was finished and ready to be found by a hero. This is going to be so much fun. Just at that moment, a particularly powerful dwarf warrior appeared in the dungeon. How had he suddenly arrived at this precise time was indeed most odd, but his presence was more than welcome. He was going to be a guinea pig for the trap. Even this strong dwarf warrior didn't stand a chance against the treacherous traps and powerful monsters of the invincible evil. He bit the dust. So much for a game of dwarves. The dungeon's defenses were now clearly much improved, but the hunting lodge still remained well protected and impregnable. There was nothing that the ultimate evil could do. The task was impossible. So the evil withdrew, bent and broken, let feelings of revenge ebb away, and instead took up looking after those cute, teeny-weeny trees. What are they called again? Bonsai, yes, that's it. The end. Pretty unsatisfactory, huh? Of course, that wasn't the end. In reality, the indefatigable evil paid the goblin cave another little visit. The goblin leader would hopefully spit out something useful after a few more slaps. The expansion-driven evil couldn't wait to explore the further possibilities of the Tinkerer's Cave. In particular, a hospital seemed a useful way to cure its ailing units. It set about asking for this to be researched. The charitable evil had researched the hospital. This would enable its units to quickly recover from their injuries, once it had been built, that is. It did take a while, but the horde eventually set out to talk to the leader of the goblins again.
Build a hospital right here.
The caring evil had good-naturedly built a hospital for its suffering creatures. It, however, still lacked a hospital bed. Little Snots would then bring any units there that have been injured in the dungeon. The first hospital bed had been built. Wounded units could now be healed in the hospital. Little Snots would also be able to bring defeated creatures here so that they could be nursed back to health. A few hard slaps were enough to motivate the leader of the goblins to help the ultimate evil. As it transpired, there was an old tunnel which had been previously used as an escape route. This connected the goblin cave with the vaults of the hunting lodge. The goblin leader voluntarily made a goblin assassin available to the hard-hitting evil to help infiltrate the lodge. The cheerful evil was pleased with this support. An assassin was a decent melee fighter, but its actual strength lay in its ability to make itself invisible. This was, of course, tested out immediately. Payday! Despite the powerful invisibility skill, it was advisable for the ultimate evil to be cautious. Some opponents had such highly trained observation skills that they were actually able to see invisible units. A locked door prevented the assassin from progressing. It would have taken a long time for him to have opened it with sheer brute force using weaponry. Thankfully, he had a suitable skill with which he could deactivate doors, and more importantly, traps. And so the negligent evil promptly allowed the only really vital unit to this mission to die. The goblin leader sighed and put his second best assassin at evil's disposal.
Well, I guess that's their way of saying I failed. So, that's nice. Stick you over there. How you guys doing? I'm not good.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
That's not good.
Enemies have entered the dungeon. Couple beds. Okay, let's go back now. The on-the-ball evil recognized that the warrior princess there was extremely powerful. The goblin assassin would be best advised to avoid any contact with her. A Gobobot was being forced to make miserable repairs in the lodge. A brief feeling of what it thought might be sympathy passed through the sensitive evil, but this actually turned out to be a mighty belch. Naturally, it would free the useful Gobobot anyway. Is this all a bit slow for you? Visit the premium shop, where you can buy 20 gems for just $100, which will speed up the rate at which this work is done. Hang on a minute. This isn't a free-to-play game. Just completely ignore what I...
Hang on a minute. I love this game. It reminds me so much of old Dungeon Keeper. And nice little...
Payday!
Okay, that's alright. I got enough money for that. Alright. That's what I'm talking about.
Elated by the assassin's attempt at rescuing it, the Gobobot joined the horde and succeeded in showing its tormentors a real hot time. Its ability to more or less ignore ranged damage and set fire to large areas would come in very handy. There are enemies in your dungeon.
That's okay. They can be in my dungeon. Come on. Yeah. Taking their crap down.
And so the negligent evil promptly allowed the only really vital unit to this mission to die. The goblin moved aside and put his second best assassin at evil's disposal at the basement exit. hunting lodge was completely destroyed. The vengeful evil gave itself a very self-satisfied pat on the back. The time was right to concentrate on King Robert. He was in his renowned garden reciting his much less renowned love poems. The lyrically challenged evil had no time for poetry and would soon make this tangibly clear to him.
Righty. Let's go after King Robert.
The horde came across a stray goblin by the roadside, who apparently constituted the sad remains of one of the hunting lodge's attack units. This miserable being joined the army of the powerful evil with a grateful whimper.
Wish I could zoom out just a little bit more. This is really, I got a small view.
It's payday. The king was accompanied by a pixie who was able to cast powerful healing magic. Any direct attack would be suicidal. Mercifully, the omniscient and helpful narrator was at hand. He pointed out to the impatient evil that the pixie went off from time to time in order to check that all was well, and much more importantly, eat her supper in a little camp to the south. The pixie buzzed over to eat her meal. The ultimate evil prepared an ambush. One would think the killing a fragile flying being wouldn't be rocket science. But an incredibly incompetent evil had taken far too long in doing so and had startled a few guards into action. Her last healing spell. The crafty-minded evil sculpted a fan from her wounds. Now it was time to look for King Robert and ensure his turn.
And he's dead.
King Robert fell, and the ultimate evil had received its well-deserved revenge. But there were still many more heroes out there who deserved to bite the dust. Their time would come.
It is well on their way.
The
All
demigod
right.
Krotos, one of the sniveling cowards who had banished the ultimate evil, had just marched his alliance army out of the swampland to fight the snake-like Nagas. The ultimate evil wanted to teach him the full futility of war by ensuring his untimely passing. Besides, the Nagas could prove to be valuable allies.
Well, and I think that's where I'm going to end this video. Oh, really loving this game. Like I've said multiple times, reminding me of my childhood with my Dungeon Keeper games. But in the next episode, we will go into the swamplands. We will find these Nagas, and we will make them our allies, whether through force, like we did the goblins. Probably through that way. Just smack them around a little bit. Anybody will do what you say as long as you smack them around a little bit, right? But thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, please like the video. Go ahead and subscribe. Tell your friends and family about me. My name is Sir Bat Nipples, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.